think we're live.
Okay. Well, this is exciting. The very first co-founders of GDA Capital and Secure Digital Markets Fireside Chat. Gentlemen, welcome to what I hope to be the first of many conversations between the three of us that the rest of the public gets to enjoy as the fly on the wall.
Awesome. Great to be here. Thanks for all the attendees for participating in today's event and for tuning in for the last panel of the day.
Yeah, it's been a great event so far. Thank you so much as well for all our participants on the various panels. Some great insightful information as always in these summits. And I must say that no matter how much I'm involved in the industry, I still learn something really tangible in every one of these panels. And I find it to be, a great resource for ongoing learning. So very excited to see what the new year has to offer in terms of the type of content that we're going to be generating. Look, guys, I think this is an exciting conversation. For those that are unfamiliar, we've got Michael Gord, the co-founder and CEO of GDA Capital and Secure Digital Markets. We have Zachary Friedman, co-founder and COO of both organizations, and myself being the third co-founder and CEO of Secure Digital Markets and executive chairman of the GDA Capital Group. So today is our very first co-founders fireside chat. I think we typically call this our Wednesday afternoon WhatsApp video, and we're going to look forward to giving a little bit of a public, view of what it's like for, co-founders to sit and talk together openly, three co-founders with different views, but very similar approaches and sometimes very different approaches to the marketplace. So I guess, to start off with here, I wanted to ask a more kind of general question to my two co-founders. It's been a very strange year, 2021, with an incredible bull run, the likes of which we've never seen, an unprecedented global pandemic. And I wanted to ask each one of you, what's been, the most exciting thing that's come out of this in terms of the way you're viewing the world and the market specifically? Because I think this will be a good start to help us shape and give some perspective to the rest of the viewers out there about about how we look at things. So, Mike, I'm going to ask you first. You've spent more than 200 days in different countries around the world. What was your biggest takeaway from this very different year than probably any year in your life until now?
I would say that the speed that a black swan event can alter the course of the world today. Whereas before, there would have been no way for information about all this stuff to travel fast enough to be able to lock down the entire world in a day when the whole lockdown started. And just the speed that the entire world can change course, I would say.
How quickly things can collapse. Yeah, I think that's a great point. Zach, what have you thought about this whole thing? Or Mike, sorry, go ahead, buddy. Keep going.
What I would say the result of that with people staying home is the speed of growth that the virtual world will pick up, which we've also noticed this year. But Zach, I wonder your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I think that the events over the last 2 years really have expedited the speed of digitization of corporations and the world around us. The digital asset ecosystem and underlying blockchain technology, I think, has lends itself extremely well to be able to build applications that support more of a decentralized and digital social environment. I think that the trend resounding amongst most major sectors, from gaming to investments to financial services to social interactions, has all shifted, and we're watching these applications be built firsthand, either within our walls, through our investments, or in the ecosystem around us. And it's really presented an amazing landscape. I think that it's brought the digital asset ecosystem into a expedited path into the mainstream, I know that all of us here on the panel and the founders have always felt that digital assets, as part of the long tail narrative, we're here to win. But this, this tremendous growth we're experiencing is, been definitely expedited by what's happening in the world around us. And I think that our largest problem, in a great way, is that there's an abundant amount of opportunity for traditional stakeholders, enterprises, companies that are trying to enter the space, that want to work with our business, position themselves to capture and build within, this new digital social world.
Well said. Very well said from both of you. Very, kind of uniquely different components of very much the same picture. I think that if I look at this last year and I think about the thing that I take away the most from it, from, let's call it, an industry-wide, very specific view, is that the natural ebbs and flows of talent that are coming into the digital asset world right now is astounding. And, I think it's expected that you'll see a lot of very, very highly intelligent, very capable, 20-somethings and early 30s that start to dominate the space. And I think that's natural, considering the space and the kind of the precursor to get involved in digital assets. But what has been the most exciting thing for me, or at least one of the most exciting things for me, is seeing the very talented, very experienced traditional bankers, analysts, fund managers, family office, kind of staunch traditional family office guys coming into the space and really having eyes wide open, accepting a lot of the truths that we kind of hold to be, self-evident, if you will, within the industry, and really start to appreciate the ethos of guys like us when we sit and we talk on a panel, or we sit and have a conversation at the bar over a beer or a martini or whatever the case is. I think that for me is almost like a tipping point when we are now finally, after so many years, all speaking the same language, and that they're looking at us and they're not thinking we're nuts because, I'm not talking about necessarily NFTs or some of the more kind of, 2.0, 3.0 versions of what the industry is going towards, but even the more traditional technologies that underpin everything within the blockchain space are now becoming just part and parcel of the everyday world. Anyways, so yeah, I think it's what a time to be alive, huh, gents? Couldn't imagine a better time. I'm curious, I actually have a question, and I'm really wondering what your guys' thoughts are on this generally. I think the theme of 2021, for the most part, has been, NFTs that kind of dovetailed into the metaverse, obviously Facebook, from a wide perspective, commercially changing the name to Meta, has kind of given a lot of eyes on the space, but, we've obviously been there for some time. And with NFTs themselves being one of the most talked about products, period, never mind just in the blockchain space, but within the entire retail space as a whole, I'm curious where you guys see NFTs going, because the conversation until now has been a lot around PFPs, digital art, and the idea of digital scarcity and provenance. But I'm interested to hear where you guys think the trends are going to lead us in the new year, and what the new applications of NFT as a technology and a concept can be applied in the real world. Well, don't both go at the same time.
So I think NFTs are going to fundamentally change up every brand's go-to-market approach. We compare it to in the internet revolution, there was a new marketing stack created for businesses to create an audience, whether that be social media, search, online advertisements, a blog and a CRM, a newsletter, which are all different ways that the internet created value to businesses to build and manage their audience. I think NFTs and the blockchain has created a new way of a new marketing stack for businesses that now includes having a utility or having a loyalty currency for the network.
Yeah.
being able to tokenize your securities, the ownership of your securities, so that they can be, more liquid and all the benefits of.
Well, I think also like it's like an additional layer of an authentication, right? So like you can take securities and kind of authenticate them and imprint them, so to speak, digitally.
Trade them globally way faster. Like I have a friend that's trying to send me some securities from Europe, and because my brokerage is in Canada, it's way more complicated than it needs to be. If they were on the blockchain, then that transaction is simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Metaverse, there's GameFi. All these niches in blockchains are really just part of a marketing stack for brands to participate. But I think that next year we're going to start to see basically all big brands executing on both a NFT collectible, you could say, strategy with things like, why not create a Nike Punks avatar collection or a Nike apes, apes wearing Nike or apes wearing or punks wearing Nike.
Adidas just did that drop in the last week or so. I know Zach was like waiting for that countdown to come through. So yeah, no, I think you're definitely on the right path, Zach. You're really
not just that's on the avatar side, which I guess is part of the NFT marketing stack. Yeah. I think also on clothes, Adidas by the end of next year is going to have a full collection of NFT wearables, so people in the metaverse can be wearing NFTs and perhaps earn loyalty points for wearing the NFT in a wear to earn model.
Yeah, and I think the instances of how that will apply in the physical world are interesting. I think the QR code is really the MVP of 2021, and having made a comeback to the
I like that. QR code is the MVP. I like it. That's
I think that we've we're going to see a lot of the physical goods start to be delivered with chip technology, with QR codes that tie to a wearable component that's associated to the good. I think that's how we'll get mainstream, a lot of mainstream usage around wearables, people coming in, but it'll happen in reverse as well. Nike's acquisition recently in the past week of RTFKT Technologies, which is, producing wearable tech right now and shoes and some amazing clothing is a great testament to that. The avatars and the fashion they display in the digital world are almost going to be more important than what's displayed in a physical world. Back to the trend of, everyone kind of moving over, spending a significant more amount of time within a digital environment. I think that, if you look about 10 years ago, people spent, I think it was 25 to 35% of their time in a digital world and environment. Today we're, if you include the internet, cell phones, we're looking at almost 50% of your waking time, even sometimes up to 70, 80 on average. The prevalence is not going to shift towards why would someone want to spend money on a, let's say a Gucci belt when they could own a luxury good item on their avatar. And we even saw that with Meta Birkins, which wasn't even actually affiliated with the real Birkin brand, but was a luxury fashion icon that was produced as a wearable, as an NFT, and saw tremendous growth and distribution. So I'm in total agreement, and I think that the ecosystem development is going to trend towards more utilization. So the wearables will grow in popularity as the experiences and events within the metaverse that you're able to attend and participate in through an avatar extend in a similar fashion. And I think to Mike's idea of the subset, like the ecosystem development, these are influenced, to take a sidestep, the trend has always been there. I think if you look towards pop culture, you look towards sci-fi, towards a Ready Player One, VR, endgame, type scenario where the world's been trending that way for a long time. These technologies, AR, VR, I think everyone is aware at home of what the world can look like in 10, 15, 20 years. By creating these use cases amongst brands to penetrate and bring in mainstream applications, you're speeding up the ability for these trends to take hold and take shape. People are, having their attention directed into this virtual environment. The technology is increasing really rapidly. I think that, Mike, we were talking about this yesterday, how much Decentraland has grown in the last year in terms of the experience and events we're able to participate in when entering an environment like that. So it's it's a really exciting time, and I know we've spent a lot of time talking about this, but I think it, as to David's point, has been one of the most prevalent trends of the last few months and year.
Yeah, I think you guys are kind of both nailing it on the head. It's interesting to think that, like, conceptually, the metaverse, they're talking about, people really think about this like virtual reality world. And as much as like Decentraland and everything, it's kind of going off of the kind of the framework that I think our generations have had through video gaming, and kind of like existing in a world kind of similar to our own, but maybe slightly altered. Conceptually, I think the metaverse is around us all the time. I think, to your point about cell phones, like, you wake up, you look at your phone, you check your emails, you're skimming the news, you're in sorry about that. You're in a, you're in an Instagram. You're kind of in people's lives, and it's constantly involved in you. So I think that the metaverse is much more about just the further advent of technology, and specifically information and technology coincide, like kind of converging in one single place, which is like within our psyche, and it's just affecting society more and more and more. And so, whether I think it's going to continue being in a virtual reality or kind of some more augmented version of what our reality is right now, several glitches in the simulation I think we've all found already, to say that I think we're kind of already there. But to talk about where the trends were ending, Zach, and this like concept of what you were talking about, of where it's pushing in society, there's a really interesting concept about this, play to earn. And games are really like the whole gamification of day-to-day activities, and now games really creating an opportunity to earn from them, I think is bringing a lot of interesting opportunities and also challenges into the world, both on a technological side and a societal level. I'm curious, like, what do you guys think it's going to be the effect of this if we can all earn a passive income by playing, the equivalent of Farmville on our phones and earning mana tokens that eventually get, significant value?
Yeah, Mike, go for it. And I think you're supposed to paint a picture. Mike was. Yeah, go for it.
So I think that it's not going to be for everyone. Like, most people don't have time to play Farmville on their phone, even if they earn a few dollars a day. I think that the target really is the percent of the world that lives on a few dollars a day, that now will have a very simple means of earning a living, just playing play-to-earn games. I think the ultimate example of that is going to be back to the metaverse. Is going to be the metaverse, because these worlds like Decentraland are kind of like a game, but one with, in addition to being able to play games, like actual play-to-earn games in Decentraland or Sandbox, the entire thing is a play-to-earn experience where the potential upside is much higher than just playing a game, because it's a full world with the ability to, drive value.
I think there's a good point to be made. Right now, the trend in play-to-earn gaming is, I think, a job-to-earn model. You can look at Axie Infinity. You don't have to look very far to see that it, helped employ hundreds of thousands of people in Philippines to earn living wages. So much so that the Filipino government actually looked to enact tax legislation in order to tax play-to-earn games, specifically for Axie Infinity and that income that was produced, because it was to such a large degree. The play-to-earn models where the mainstream, I think that, a little bit contrary to your point, Mike, is that a lot of people in today's society spend, let's say an hour, 2 hours a day, especially in the millennial Gen Z demographic, video games, on their phone, by the data, I think probably even more today. So the ability to pivot that time where you can actually spend it towards earning even a small income is significant. And the ecosystem is in its infancy. That will increase in scale, have more interoperability where time spent and committed into one gaming ecosystem can be ported over to another. I think that there's the skill to earn ecosystem will continue to develop where outside of third world countries here, well, anywhere in the world, really, you can earn a wage like an athlete or, a professional, actually participating or finding your skills, honing it in. And we are seeing, obviously, massive esports categories and, it's the prize pools and the talent participation, the training, the education. It is really, what like it's the ecosystem is like professional sports. So skill turn gaming will be prevalent. There will be the new ecosystem formation and something.
It's interesting. It's interesting to just, sorry, not to interrupt, but just to make it more conversational. It's interesting what you say about the replication of real life sports, because I mean, realistically, it very much is the training, the commitment, the way that they're signing players, the way these teams are making sponsorship deals, and so on and so forth. And I think that this has all been foreshadowed. I remember almost 15 years ago, I was in Seoul, Korea, and then Shanghai, and I was there for one of the World of Warcraft releases. I actually think it was the World of Warcraft release. I'd have to look back and check exactly. But, remember what World of Warcraft turned into, right? I mean, there was people playing 24/7, creating these, these digital weapons, these digital armors, these armories. They created guilds of players. Those things became worth huge amounts of money on the secondary market. It was actually one of the very first applicable real life use cases of Bitcoin, was buying secondary market digital goods in areas like this. It's interesting how much foreshadowing there was in the world today. And I think you're right. This becomes more and more, a part of a basic support system across multiple societies. It's an interesting thing. There's a stat, and I think, I shared it, Zach, with you regarding Taco Bell and the challenges that they're facing. Literally, Taco Bell across the US has 74,000 plus job openings, and they're offering $70,000+ a year for managers, which is an unprecedented wage for that industry. And they're having nearly no luck in placing, an individual in that role. And I think that the real life application and the difficulty we're going to see here is the effect this has on allowing people to work from home or work in an environment that they determine what that is and earn a very reasonable, if not significant, income from developing a skill set, in the comfort of their own home or on the road as they continue to live their lives as they want. So it's interesting the kind of challenges that's going to present. Mike, I'm curious. And I'm asking Mike this question for those that don't know Michael very well. Michael is the visionary within the trio here. Mike's been seeing the future one way or another for a number of years in our group, and was very bullish on concepts like the Metaverse, concepts like NFT platforms, concepts like brand loyalty tokens, 6 months to 2 years in advance of their actual real life application. I'm curious, Mike, where do you see the gamification going right now? Where do you see this concept of play to earn leading us down in the next couple of 12 to 18 months?
I think that we will so Bill Gates' prediction is that in 2 years, I think, that most business meetings will take place in the Metaverse. I think that's a pretty bold prediction. But whether it's 2 years or 7 years, I think that the world is going to move to an ecosystem of immersive experiences that every physical experience intends to be mirrored into, so that any local experience, whether that local experience is in Toronto, New York, London, Zimbabwe, Sydney, anywhere, will also be held virtually for the whole world to participate, with organizers of experiences giving out rewards for the global participation in the immersive experiences. And that basically anything someone does in the metaverse will be incentivized. So people will just wander around looking for experiences to earn their proof of attendance NFTs.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, I'm going to shift it up for us here a little bit because, frankly, I'm super incredibly proud about the progress and the things that the firm has done over the last 12 to 18 months, and I'm interested to hear of the upcoming products and the upcoming projects that we have coming out. Zach, where do you think we're going to see our biggest growth potential in the firm, specifically GDA, as a wide-ranging advocacy, consultancy, and otherwise, kind of full hands-on, full 360 service firm in the blockchain crypto space?
Yeah, so I think part and parcel with our initial mission when creating the business, helping digital assets to become mainstream and really building the infrastructure for an investment bank for the virtual world. We've entered a lot of verticals that have evolved with the times. I think that we've created opportunities and some amazing pipelines for various types of investors to enter the space, to access products and services, for disruptive companies to grow, launch, and structure themselves under kind of a new digital asset understanding and framework, raise capital. And where I see the biggest value having been developed within our ecosystem is our incredible network of projects, founders, and capital that really spans across the globe. Our internal team is I think I logged into our Slack the other day and I got a notification saying we had members in 15 different time zones. We have offices and team members all across the world. We've participated this year alone, I think, in events, keynotes, panels, or activations in probably 7 to 10 different countries and a bunch more than that cities, even during COVID and the lockdown. And I think one of the things I'm most excited about is the launch of our asset management arm. We've been managing our own prop capital in the digital asset space for quite some time with really like a discretionary multi-strategy approach internally. And we've worked with various fund managers, looked at different niches, explored different ways to asset class allocation. And the thing that I personally have been really heavily focused on in conjunction with my team, of course, is bringing to market what we think is the right sort of fund management diversification strategy that will allow traditional and institutional capital to come in, get exposure to the digital asset space in a hedged and exciting way, and see returns. And what we're coming to market with formally, we have not outwardly announced it to the world, but the launch of our asset management arm in Q1 of 2022 at the end of January. We'll have a series of pretty incredible products. We think that we're bringing to market some of the best in the world in terms of strategies, talent, and execution ability. So, that's something that I'm really excited about and I've been trying to get to for quite some time.
So in case anyone's wondering, that's why GDA and SDM succeed so well with founder-led sales. Well done, Zach. I could not agree with you more. So I guess looking at some of the projects that we've seen come in and really understanding the nature of where these kind of the really, game-changing token projects are at this day and age. Mike, you're seeing all kinds of stuff come across your desk. Conceptually, there's something like Yearn Finance strike you as being, where the industry continues to trend towards. do you think DAOs are going to be the more dominant kind of buzzword and industry leading, further tip of the spear as we continue to go towards that, traditional finance sector, but in a kind of blockchain-esque manner? Or do you see something else coming out the chute that might take us by surprise?
I think it's going to continue. DeFi, NFTs, and the Metaverse, I think are going to continue to be super hot. I think as DeFi continues to flirt more and more with regulatory uncertainty, that DAOs are going to become super hot overnight as a solution. If the entire world basically is participating in DAOs, because there's now tens of millions of users of these DeFi applications, the regulations start to become the next layer of complication away from DeFi to DAOs. How do you regulate communities that have tens of thousands of users and have already gotten a lot of participation? So I think DAOs will definitely get a lot hotter next year. Tough to say what other niches will emerge. I think branded stable coins are going to be super big next year. Brands with their own treasuries launching.
There's definitely a good use case for it, for sure. I mean, the interoperability, but kind of branded, I think is going to be an interesting ways for the Walmarts and the professional sports teams of the world to kind of create their own like financial ecosystems that, hopefully they do it well and they do it smart in such a way that the interoperability within the brands exists. But I think that's an exciting thing. Guys, I can't believe we haven't done this before. Like, honestly, really doing this, the three of us, considering the amount of time we spent together, I feel like I'm getting pinged from a couple of different places all around the world, guys that are watching us saying we want to sit down in this conversation. So I'm going to put it out there to all the viewers, some of you that are WhatsApping me, and that's the pings you're hearing in the background on my microphone. And to those that aren't, but are thinking it while watching this, I think these co-founders of mine and I are going to run an ongoing series where co-founders talk to
Mike can spin up a brand.
Yeah, Mike will spin up a brand. It's called Co-Founders Meeting Co-Founders, and I think we're looking to have a kind of ongoing roundtable discussion where we sit down, we talk for an hour as friends. Sometimes you get friendly arguments, sometimes you get good intellectual discussion. But the great thing about
too much of the secret sauce of this new business line you just thought of, which I'm excited about.
No, but this is actually a call out to everyone who's watching this. Anyone who wants to participate in an upcoming roundtable with the three of us. And yes, unfortunately, you're stuck with the three of us. No, I'm not going to bow out and let you guys just talk to Mike and Zach. I know they're a lot more fun to talk to than I am, but you're stuck with me as well. Reach out to someone at GDA or SDM, including any one of the three of us. And we'll be continuing to book a series of these types of conversations ongoing. And, we look to the industry to join us, because I think there's nothing better than having this type of conversation and bringing to the table other members of society that might want to participate. If you want to reach any one of us, it's Zach, Z-A-C-H,
I got it. I'll take it, Dave.
Or David or Michael at gda.capital. Again, that's at GDA, Global Digital.
I dropped it in the chat, Dave.
.capital. Well, guys, look, it's been great. It's fantastic. And the rare occasion that we're actually all in our office at the same time is even more fantastic, even though we're all on different cameras. But I'm looking forward to doing this again. And in the meantime, I hope everyone enjoyed watching. If anyone has anything they want to add in before we wrap up, go right ahead. Guys, anything on your mind that you want to get out in the metaverse before we end our little chat here?
Looks good to go. All right. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Dave, Mike, pleasure as always. And cheers, everyone. Happy holidays.
Been a slice to the moon. We'll talk soon, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks so
everyone.
much for joining us.